Hi everyone, welcome back. It is Monday and we have some good stuff going on at last for Bitcoin. We are on the way up. Not as much currently, but we're continuing the uptrend. A confirmation of it has finally happened. Super trend has flipped in the green in our favor now, which means that we can finally start looking at higher highs, higher lows. Currently that super trend is approximately where I did predict it to be at 100,000. And it's currently climbing as we speak, so it did manage to flatten out a little bit over here at 100,191, almost 100,200. And yeah, like I said, it's on the way up right now, so we don't know exactly where it could, if it is going to retrace, where it can come down to, but I'm optimistic about where we are headed here. This small difference is $1,000 in my PNL, which is crazy. We did slightly turn green in my position on Bitcoin. By the way, I've entered at my average prices at 107,190, and that's me DCAing like crazy for the past couple of weeks. But we're finally seeing some signs of life at last. So good. I like this climb on the way up. Pivot level 104,750 seems to be where our current support is, our immediate support. And yeah, it's looking good. So yeah, I was right in calling the bottom right over there. So we are keeping the uptrends, which is good. We can get rid of this downtrend, finally. We do have to worry about one more though, which is the one from the all-time high, connected with the high we had on October 28. We're not breaking out of that one just yet, but I think soon that could absolutely happen. Breaking anything above 109 would be ideal, right? To completely get rid of this downtrend line. Because I wouldn't say we're fully out of the woods yet. Something like this can happen. We bounce off of this uptrend line and then, I don't know, maybe we do indeed start trending lower and then the bull run is over. I don't think that is going to happen, to be honest with you guys. So it's looking good overall. 110,631 is where we have our true resistance. And yeah, after that, the high that we reached at 116,000, that's your resistance after that. Can we hit those this week? With this government shutdown ending, yeah, I think we can. By the way, I may or may not have provided some misinformation. Or maybe I gave you partially correct information. So government shutdown didn't end 100%. It has to go through all these processes, right? So we had the initial Congress passing, the chance to end the government shutdown yesterday. I covered that and I thought that was it. I thought shutdown was over and we're going to get economic data and everything all over again. But no, not yet. We had to pass the Senate, the House, and then the president has to sign it into law to end the government shutdown. I don't know why. Like, it's not like the president signed the shutdown into law to begin with, so why do we have to go through all this process to end? Anyway, you can ask the founding fathers why this is, but that's besides the point. Today we had the Senate voting on ending the government shutdown, which, spoiler alert, it turned out in our favor, which is why we saw a little wick upwards. We had a high today on Bitcoin of 107,441, which is great. That's why it slightly peaked into the positive territory for my position, right? So that was good. What is next is a vote on the House of Representatives. That will take place hopefully by Wednesday, is what Speaker Johnson said. And then, of course, it could take a couple hours to a couple days, although I'm pretty sure Trump will expedite this process to get it signed by the president. That is the next step after the House votes to approve it. Otherwise, I mean, if they don't vote to approve it, then it's just gonna approve to end the shutdown, by the way. It's just gonna last a while longer, which I hope that doesn't happen, and I don't expect it to. Seems like it's likely to end very soon. By this week, for sure. Right? We'll see. So there's that going on. There's also this other thing looming in the background on whether or not tariffs are legal or illegal. For whatever reason, people are leaning towards, yeah, tariffs might be illegal and we might have to refund everything. I think that's just FUD. I don't think it's real, and I think tariffs are good overall. We're seeing what Trump is doing with them. I've already gave my piece on it, so I'm not going to go talking all about tariffs all over again, but yeah, I think it's positive overall, and they should not be ruled as illegal. So we'll see. That's where we're at with Bitcoin right now. It's looking good. Some of my positions turning in the green. Chainlink was slightly in the green a couple minutes ago. Yeah. I still had a stop loss placed on Hyperliquid. I'll talk about that when we do get there, so I'm going to ignore it for now. Ethereum slightly turning in the green at last, or basically at my entry. 3,595 is the current price. What is this? Oh yeah. BingX finally added Monero XMR for trading on perpetual futures. And that is a thing that I've been requesting on stream for a very long time. I wanted to trade Monero, you don't understand. But now we finally got it. And we are crashing on the news, which is just fantastic. I love this chart, by the way, where it's just, you don't get historical data. It's just, we're starting at 400, I don't know. Where did we open? $413. And now price is $384. I think the hype is gone by now, though, to be honest, because the big push with all the privacy tokens, it already passed, in my opinion. We peaked when we saw the founder of Zcash being transgender, and we all don't know what to do with privacy coins anymore, is what it seems like. It's like we missed the train at this point, and BingX is late to the party with listing Monero. Yeah, they had Zcash in there, but Zcash already did its thing. I don't think we're gonna see a huge pump like that in recent times, like for the upcoming weeks. Maybe we can, I don't know. Because if alt season truly does kick in, it's going to be pretty huge. So we must wait and see, to be honest. Like I said, I don't have historical data for Monero. I don't know the chart of it at all. So I'm going to have to pull up. What do I do? CoinMarketCap, or I'll look at CoinMarketCap. So Monero does not have Bitcoin's tokenomics. That's one thing to pay attention to. And another thing is, well, yeah, like the inflationary aspect of it. I want to see what its tokenomics are like. And I've already, I don't know where it is. It's number 21. Okay. I somehow scrolled way too far down. Where are we here? We're peaking pretty good right now where we are. And I don't want to FOMO in right over here. Although it looks like price is currently crashing like crazy. 6% down. No, not really. We're still at the very, very top over here. Although we've been at higher prices. Our all-time high was in year 2021, of course, in May 11, where we reached $454 a coin, 453, right? Same peak in January 2018, and it seems like we're on our way to make our peak once again over there. If we're looking at the market cap, it's looking relatively stable, to be honest. It does. Like, it doesn't seem inflationary at all, in my opinion. That is crazy. Because we're seeing the same prices, like, hit the same areas, right? If this was inflationary, you would look at the market cap, do the same kind of movement, but the price trend lower and lower. That's how you know it's inflationary over time, right? If you look at the all-time chart. Let me give you an example with the most inflationary of them all, which is Polkadot. Where are you? Here you are. If you look at Polkadot's price, right, it makes it huge movements upward, and then every next impulse, it's barely visible and tiny. But if you look at its market cap, well, okay, well, bad example. Let me find something else. No, but it's something similar. Okay, cool. I lost it all. Let me go back. What is a good example? Something that is inflationary. Athena, I think, was a good example. Yeah, Athena's a good example. So price, right, it trends lower each time, but the market cap has been increasing each time. So you see an inverse correlation over here. There's more money being poured into it, but the fact that there's so many tokens being released into the supply, it just doesn't have the same effect because there's no scarcity factor. There's too much supply compared to the demand, which It is keeping up, but it's not enough to keep the prices pumping higher than what they were before, right? Relative to the market cap that existed. That's the kind of thing I'm trying to explain over here. So Monero actually looks really stable when it comes to its inflationary aspect. I don't see it as inflationary too much, right? The same money that was in 2018, same money that was in 2021, it's having the same impact on the current price of the token, meaning that the circulating supply hasn't really changed much. Whether they have token burns implemented or I don't know what the case may be. Like I said, I'm going to have to delve deeper in that. So for now, I'll stay out of it. And it looks like it's already increased a little too high. Like I don't have historical data here, like I said, but just picture something like this going on, right? So who knows how low this can go from here. I'm not saying that it will. Maybe it does continue higher, but I think the privacy era is pretty much gone. Old news. Okay, so we talked about Bitcoin and Ethereum. Let's move on to Solana. 168.93 is the current price. Still haven't broken its downtrend. Wait, did Ethereum? No, not yet for Ethereum either. So Ethereum's resistance, I guess I didn't really mention it. 3,675, you could round that to invalidate this downtrend. It seems like we're on the brink of doing so, right? Bitcoin, of course, being the first mover. Ethereum should follow to break this super trend, push it lower and, well, I guess flip it into the green. That way we could delete this downtrend line and expect movements further up to lead us to, it's basically looking like 4,000, the next resistance, after breaking 3,675, which is a big difference between these two. Maybe an explosive growth could be expected. Pivot support immediately at 3,513, maybe even a little lower, 3,500 you could estimate for Ethereum. So there's that if you care. Still in a downtrend for now. Same deal with Solana. Still in a downtrend. We got to break 173.55 as confirmation that we do have the downtrend broken and we can continue higher, because for now the downtrend is there. How far back? I have to, for whatever reason, it deleted all my technical analysis that I've drawn, so I'm gonna have to redo a majority of it. Since our recent high, it seems like it's gonna take a while for us to break that one. Probably gonna have to break 200, of course. 200 is a psychological level on Solana. Please let me type this. There you go. Just for our own reference, right? And a support for Solana, it's good. It's basically where my, oh no, it's not my entry price. It's a limit order I have here at 145. You could basically estimate that 143, 144, around there. Decent entry if it does come down to that place. I don't expect it to, but just in case it does, because we still are in a downtrend, the possibility is there, and I will be prepared for it if we do see a bounce, something like this. Like I said, I don't think it's going to happen though. But that being said, I'm not going to FOMO and buy into these prices because I'm in the futures market. I want to get into the best prices. If this was spot and I had a bunch of money, yeah, Solana is at a really good price right now to get into 168, 169. So relatively cheap. Not financial advice. Moving on. Hyperliquid, $41.33, down 3% today. I was expecting a rise to maybe this area, $45. But uptrend is still being maintained. This bounce that we just had today, our low point that we hit at $40.56, it bounced right on the uptrend, that this little temporary uptrend that I had drawn over here, which don't expect it to really follow it. But I mean, if we do follow it, then that's just early signs of a perfect uptrend that we have drawn over here. But I would expect it maybe to break lower. If it does, I'm out of the position on Hyperliquid, which would be fine. Actually, no, I don't think it would be fine. I do really like my entry where it is right now, and it's not even that much, to be honest. So we'll just let fate take its course, and like I said, I do expect it to rise up to 45. If we do see 45, we would essentially be overbought, and that's where I would probably be taking profits. Probably. We'll see. So my projection kind of still stands over here. We're just going to need some more time. Seems like we didn't get enough impulse today. Overall today, we did have a bit of an up day, right? I checked on stock market in the morning and they were all on the rise. So I'm optimistic for this week, of course. BitTensor 394.55 right now. Haven't really broken the 400, have we? No, 398.71 was our high of today. My average entry is 402. We are still in a downtrend. We got to go above 425 to start a new uptrend on BitTensor, meaning that this downtrend would have been very short-lived because we've been in a very good uptrend for BitTensor for a while now, especially since the whole rest of the markets were crashing. So yeah, early signs of trying to break out of this downtrend, which I like to see, should approach us to the 425 area, and I would be in the green by then for BitTensor. Halving event coming soon, by the way. Everything is turning red. That is not good. It's fine. SUI 217 still lateralized in this area, but like I said, I do expect an explosive growth on SUI eventually, and that is not financial advice either. That's just copium from my end because I am suffering, but it's fine. 229 is my average entry, and it's at 217 right now. It's not even that big of a difference, but I am well loaded up in here and can't wait to see its explosive move, as I do expect it to happen. Because that's just typically, historically, what's happened. When SUI's price gets suppressed while the rest of the markets are rising, it eventually does catch up, and it catches up in a big way. And I've done the comparison from SUI to XRP, roughly around the same price, by the way. I saw XRP rising a lot today, I think. 252 is the current price. Yeah, it did have a good rise, and it's broken its downtrend. I don't really analyze too much XRP, but here you go if you care. Reaching a high today of 258, really. Rising from basically 227. So far, XRP is in the lead, but I don't expect it to be like of a long-term lead. Okay, not long-term. How do I explain this? I've made the race between SUI and XRP because they were both at the same price, and I do expect SUI to perform better. It's just that SUI is more volatile than XRP. That is just a reality. It's a fact because of its market cap differences, right? Add $1 billion to XRP, you move it a cent. Add $1 billion to SUI, you'll move it, I think I said 10 cents before, something like that. So there's more potential in growth in SUI. It's just that the demand isn't quite there yet. So trust me, when it does, when the FOMO kicks in, it will be heavy. Again, that order thing, what is that there for? What is happening? Chainlink also on the rise today. We saw these numbers turn slightly green, like I said a couple minutes ago before I went live. We have a high today of 1678. Resistance would be technically at 17. My average entry is 1659. The current price 1651. Resistance at 1575. Sorry, support that would be. And then our worst case scenario supports 1384. I don't think it's going to drop there. But if it does, good opportunity for entry potentially at 1375 on average. So yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing with Chainlink. Potentially going to be breaking out of this downtrend very soon. I do have to draw new downtrends over here just to kind of give myself an idea as to where we are at. What would they look like? Seems like this is one. I would draw another one from that same level just to see how it looks like from here. This one's technically broken. I do have to overextend it. I guess that's what the downtrend would look like, and we are attempting to break it over here. So we're in a very critical zone for Chainlink that would determine whether or not, big analysis incoming, by the way, whether the price will drop or the price will rise. I know, right? Huge deal. With macroeconomic factors, what the fundamentals and everything, my vision would be toward the upside, of course. So once we do see that breakout and trend flipping, that would bring us to search for a resistance at 1782, 1770 something is what I would expect, right? Based off this recent high over here as well. And then best case scenario, 1972, which would approach us towards this larger downtrend line that basically does come from a... Is this the all-time high? It's not an all-time high. I think I've seen Chainlink at $50 or something before, right? What is Chainlink's all-time high? $52 in May 2021, by the way. Slightly more inflationary, but nothing too crazy. Like, this is normal inflation on Chainlink, for example, comparing the two, the market cap and the price. So it's fine. $50 is doable once again for Chainlink in this cycle. If we do get that same demand coming in, let me give you an estimate as to how much exactly, not exactly, but an estimate as to how much money that would be. It's going to have to be more than 20 billion. I'll give it 25 billion market cap, which would take us to basically flipping Cardano, which I think could be doable. Cardano's not performing that well, to be honest. But yeah, I'm still in Cardano as we speak, of course. Like, I do have a position open, average entry at 6105. What is this? Break-even price is after funding fees and realized P&L. Interesting. This is new. Okay. So this tells you your break-even price, including the fees that you are paying, right? So I know I've entered at 6105. You would think in theory that my average entry 6105 would be my break-even price because the P&L would be zero at that price. That's what a break-even is. But not necessarily the case. I'm paying $15 in fees, 14 from funding fees, $1.19 from the trading fees, maker-taker fees, right? That means that it pushes my break-even price to a higher number to account for the $15, which would mean 61.33 on Cardano. That's new. That's interesting. I like that. W perpetual futures. And the current price is 59.30. We're not too far off, right? I might as well look at the chart since I'm talking about Cardano. Supertrend flipped green. That's great. Good stuff going for Cardano, which means that once again, the the 50 cents did its thing again for Cardano, where it served as a very important support level. Do we get to see the magic in a it's not loading much data, but trust me, there's another arch over here that bounces off the 50 cent mark, meaning that this level over here always been a very good support for Cardano at the 50 cent level. Ignore this, by the way, October 10. That's not real. Blowing chunks, welcome. I'd imagine break-even keeps increasing the longer you hold and fee interest increase. That is correct, yes, of course, because the more fees you're paying, because of the funding fees, you get charged those every 8 hours on average, depending on the coin, right? And those keep on increasing, meaning that your break-even price does have to increase to account for the fees that are being charged. So yeah, that is indeed the case. Aptos also one of the earliest to flip its trend into the green. I took advantage of it, took profits, and well, do I regret it? Probably. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. How much did I even make? I don't know. It's probably a good amount though. Yeah, uptrend is there for Aptos. 328 is the current price, and we are looking to hit maybe 360. A huge 360. That would be great. Aptos very, very oversold overall. So I don't know why Aptos is catching more fire than Sui. Sui looks like a terrible bounce back upward, but Aptos seems like it's got a lot of strength. Or maybe that's just because of the fact that it's same deal, right? Lower market cap and any amount of money that gets poured into it relative to Sui, Aptos would have a bigger price move, right? It should. There's a difference in its market cap, whereas Aptos, has it dropped a lot, or am I just skipping it? I know I could just search, and I probably should, but I want to find it on the chart myself. I feel accomplished when I do. Here it is, number 43, 2 billion market cap versus Sui, 7, almost 8 billion market cap. Yeah, there you go, of course. It's going to have a bigger price movement. And I'm comparing Sui to Aptos because they're quite literally the same thing. But Aptos is probably slightly better, just less popular. Okay. Cool, that's all I have for technical analysis right now. Bitcoin is on its way down as we speak, 105,930. We started at 106, just fine. I'm so ready for an aggressive upswing, been holding alt bags deep into the red all year. I agree, and we will deserve the gains. We do deserve the gains, so yep. I will also keep holding on, because I'm sure we have the same vision over here. This month should be a very good month. And if not, then it should carry on until December. Some people even think it could carry on till 2026. Maybe there won't even be a bear market anymore. I don't think so. I think something dumb is going to happen. It's just going to crash everything. So I wouldn't have a positive long-term outlook. By long-term, I mean the next couple of months. But I mean, overall, like in the actual long-term, if we're talking a couple of years, yeah, of course, at the rate the adoption is coming and all these, the volume that's coming from Wall Street, the inflows, the ETFs getting approved, everything, regulation, it's all just gonna be making things rise significantly longer. So if you're holding spot for a very long time, it's probably the better play to make. I probably will cash out from futures market in 2026 and start buying a lot of spot, especially in like any good dips that we see, if we do get any, if that is indeed a bear market. And only in the more important projects, of course, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, maybe Hyperliquid, and Chainlink. Those would be the only ones I would genuinely hold. I like BitTensor, I like Sui, I like Aptos. But why hold those when you have others, right? Ethereum, because it's just used everywhere and it has the institutional trust. Solana is getting there. We're seeing early signs of it. So I see a lot of potential for Solana and also meme coins. What are you going to release meme coins on? Ethereum? Nobody does that anymore. We all use Solana. And then Bitcoin is Bitcoin, of course. Hyperliquid, the best decentralized exchange. And then Chainlink, the layer 0, the Oracle play that everybody needs. So very important to hold as well. That would be like, what is that, top 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that would be my top 5 if I was to choose. That I'd be accumulating on spot. Any dips that I can get lowering my average price, yeah, I'll be glad to buy into those. Unless I'm missing a project. I don't want XRP, I don't want BNB, I don't want Tron, I don't trust that guy. Cardano, what does that even do anymore? Privacy coins. It's either Zcash or Monero. I don't know. I'd have to do more research when it comes to privacy coins. Hedera, what does Hedera even do anymore? Yeah, no, I think that would be my only top 5. So we'll see. By the way, whatever happened to Hyperliquid's stablecoin? USDH, does it even exist? Oh, it does exist. Yeah, it's real, it's kicking. What is this? What is this? October 10? They depegged. That's not good. 98 cents. You could buy a $1 stablecoin for 98 cents on October 10. That's guaranteed 2 cents return for every dollar that you buy into, which is pretty good for a couple hours. But I mean, you probably got a better deal buying Cosmos when it dropped to literally $0. Remember that? That was so funny. Cosmos, Atom, not Atom. Can we please load? Why do I pay money for internet if it doesn't load? Unless TradingView is down. Maybe it's connected to Amazon Web Services and Amazon Web Services likes to go down on occasion. Please let me change. Maybe Atom shows here. I don't know how far it dropped on October 10. We dropped to $1.46. No, it was worse on Binance's chart. Okay, now we're loading. Please let me search. I've clicked this button like 15 times now. Okay, here we go. Atom USDT. Have a look at this. Get a load of this. I love it. $0. Get out of here. That's so funny. Could have bought a $4 coin for $0 and then it immediately rose to $3 as if nothing happened. If only. All right. Yeah, that is all. I'm done making fun of these terrible coins. Let's move on to our news. We have some stuff to talk about, so let's get into it. Government shutdown, as we all know, is the biggest topic this week. What has happened last time the government shutdown ended in 2018? US government reopened. Bitcoin rallied more than 300% in 5 months. Will that same thing happen this time around? I really don't think so, but it's a good reference to know that Bitcoin does go up after a shutdown overall. The US Senate will vote today to end the longest government shutdown in history. That is what we're currently going through. The Senate vote already happened today, but just some backstory to it, I guess. They had adjourned until 11 a.m. on Monday, although multiple more votes were needed to reopen the government. And Speaker Johnson is hoping to have the House vote by Wednesday, per Fox. So like I said, it had multiple stages. Congress is done. Senate happened today, which they just passed the bill to fund the government and end the longest shutdown in history. It passed with 60 to 40 votes. It will now be sent to the House of Representatives, which, like I said, Speaker Johnson expects it to happen by Wednesday. And if that passes in both chambers of Congress, it will head to President Donald Trump to be signed into law. And how soon can we see that? Probably really soon, because we ask Grok. House could vote on the bill today or soon after. Like I said, we're expecting by Wednesday. Given the urgency of the shutdown, full enactment from the House passage to presidential signature typically takes hours to a couple of days if coordinated quickly. So that's from the House to the president. And like I said, Trump doesn't want the shutdown to go on much longer, so he's probably going to sign it immediately after, is what I would expect. President Trump's signature is required for the bill to become law and restore funding, ending the shutdown. If not, then it automatically gets approved without a signature after 10 days in session, which nobody's going to be waiting those 10 days. Like I said, Trump's probably going to immediately sign that. Delays are rare in shutdown resolutions to minimize disruption. Cool. It's good. It's good stuff. That's what we want to see. But until then, the airport chaos does continue and the government technically is shut down, but it's looking positive for the shutdown to be over. Why am I talking about this now? Okay, well, I guess I will. The CFTC, the Commodities Something Trading Commission, Federal Trading, I guess that's what it stands. I'm literally guessing. What is this? Commodity Futures Trading Commission. I said Federal Trading Commission. I was close enough. Good for a first try. They signaled leveraged spot crypto trading on regulated exchanges. The wording is odd here. If it's leveraged trading, it's not spot, but okay. I guess I understand what they mean, because right now in the US, I don't think leveraged trading is allowed. Same deal with Canada and a lot of countries, right? You can only buy cryptocurrencies on the spot market, right? Or via ETFs if they offer any leveraged expositions, but who does that? So that's why there's decentralized exchanges where perps, right? You can trade on Hyperliquid with leverage, things like that. Or, you know, BingX is another one, but it's also not allowed in US or Canada. You have to get around it by being from another country. I am from another country that is regulated for this exchange. So that's my little workaround. But there's other exchanges that don't require KYC that allow you to leverage trades such as BitUnix. Link in the description, by the way, if you care. So yeah, there's options there. But this move by the CFTC chair, they confirmed that they are working with regulated US exchanges, which would be, I guess, Coinbase. Would Robinhood be one? I don't think Robinhood, even if they do allow buying crypto, but I don't think they're going to introduce the leveraged option anytime soon. What else? Kraken. I'm naming exchanges off the top of my head here. Is BitGet another? Is it allowed in the US? I don't know. I don't live there, so I'm not sure. But, you know, the biggest exchanges that we know of. Probably not Binance. I don't think Binance is allowed. But, you know, after CZ getting pardoned, there's the possibility of Binance allowing its services in the US once again. But anyway, they're working together to introduce leveraged, I'm going to ignore spot, leveraged crypto trading. This would allow traders to use leverage directly on Bitcoin and crypto markets instead of needing offshore platforms, because that's what we do currently need. It's important for a few reasons. It moves leverage back onshore under US regulatory oversight. It gives institutions a clearer framework to participate in crypto trading without routing through overseas venues. It increases competitions with platforms like Binance and Bybit, which have dominated leverage markets. If it goes live, it changes the structure of the market. Liquidity pricing and leverage flows would shift toward US regulated exchanges where compliance and reporting are standard. This is about crypto being integrated into regulated market infrastructure instead of being treated as a fringe product. That's good. Yeah. Hood might enable buying crypto on margin. Yeah, I think so. Like some other, like Wealthsimple is in Canada the equivalent to Robinhood. We don't have Robinhood in Canada, but we have Wealthsimple. They also do that same thing with margin trading, but it's mainly for non-registered accounts, which means only stocks and ETFs, right? I don't think it's been fully allowed for crypto yet, but yeah, I mean, if they do allow something like that, like trading on margin, it's basically leverage, but a bit more complex to understand in my opinion. I don't like margin trading. I find it cancerous, but the option is there if you do need the extra buying power. So that's good. U.S. Senate AG, Attorney General Committee, releases crypto market structure draft bill. Drafts become hearings, becomes rules, become onboarding institutions. This is how trillion-dollar waves start, is what comments are talking about here. This is a lot. I'm not reading all that. But yeah, this is a step in the right direction overall. Trump also commented on, I guess this is what I wanted to continue on after the shutdown. My stuff was reorganized around, but yeah. Trump talked about the air traffic controllers who were affected by the shutdown. A lot of them weren't working, and it was a big issue for, you know, if you were traveling by plane, you would have noticed this issue. There being a lot of delays and stuff like that on flights, or flights just straight up getting canceled, I think, in some instances. Trump said that all air traffic controllers must get back to work now, despite the fact that the shutdown hasn't really finished, technically, but it will soon. Anyone who doesn't will be substantially docked. For those air traffic controllers who were great patriots and didn't take any time off for the Democrat shutdown hoax, imagine you're not getting paid and you're just, because you're a patriot, you kept working at your job for a whole month and a half almost. Trump says that he will be recommending a bonus of $10,000 per person for distinguished service to our country. So it paid off in the end. If you were faithful, I guess, during that time, you get rewarded $10,000 for working that month during that shutdown. For those that did nothing but complain and took time off, even though everyone knew they would be paid in full shortly into the future, I'm not happy with you. You didn't step up to help the USA against the fake Democrat attack that was only meant to hurt our country. You will have a negative mark, at least in my mind, against your record. If you want to leave service in the near future, please do not hesitate to do so with no payment or severance of any kind. Wow. You will quickly be replaced by true patriots who will do a better job on the brand new state-of-the-art equipment, the best in the world, that we are in the process of ordering. The last administration just wasted billions of dollars trying to fix antiquated junk. They had no idea what they were doing. Again, to our great American patriots, God bless you. I won't be able to send you money fast enough. To all others, report to work immediately. Wow, Trump just calling everybody out here who took time off during that shutdown. He was asked about this on Fox Live, and this is pretty funny. Trump says that air traffic controllers who stayed on the job during the shutdown will receive a $10,000 bonus. Ingram asked, where is that money coming from? Trump said, I don't know. I'll get it from someplace. Don't worry. You guys will get paid your $10,000. Totally. So do we trust this or not? Anyway. You guys remember the 50-year mortgage that I talked about? Was it yesterday? Time flies. The U.S. Trump administration is reportedly also working on 15-year car loans. Okay. So that, in theory, it should make housing more affordable and cars more affordable. The bad thing is that people feel like it's just basically renting, and it's like that saying, you will own nothing and be happy, right? And you also do pay a lot of interest if you do wait that whole time. But the idea is you pay it off as fast as you can, right? If you have the funds to pay more, you pay more. And that way you don't have to wait for that long. And the monthly payments obviously will be reduced on a longer term contract. So he's doing that for cars and houses is what it seems like. Trump also commented on Marjorie Taylor Greene. Caitlin Collins from CNN had an interview with Marjorie Taylor Greene, a congresswoman. And she says, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she asked Trump, who was a big ally of yours, said she would rather see you focus on nonstop domestic policy meetings here at the White House instead of nonstop foreign policy meetings. What's your response to her saying that? Trump says, I don't know what happened to Marjorie. She's a nice woman, but I don't know what happened. She's lost her way, I think. I have to view the presidency as a worldwide situation, not locally. That's what Trump commented on it. So maybe there is beef between the two. Maybe she will become Democrat. No, I don't even know. Who knows what will happen to the lady, but for the time being, she is our top insider trader. But maybe not for long. This just came out. Christine Pelosi, I thought this was not real at first, but apparently it is. She is the daughter of Nancy Pelosi. If the last name obviously wasn't familiar enough. She has announced that she is running for the California State Senate. And if you're aware, Nancy Pelosi announced that she will no longer run for another term. She's retiring. She's gone. So if you don't know, of course, Nancy Pelosi, best insider trader ever. And now her daughter, which looks like, I don't know, an older white version of Kamala Harris. Am I wrong? Like, do you guys see that resemblance? Anyway, so yeah, she's running for Senate. Maybe she'll give us some better insider trades. For the time being, we're scavenging for random Congress people to see if they have any cool insider trades. Here's one. April Delaney disclosed purchases that caught our eye. So she bought $30,000 into LabCorp, which owns Covance, a developer of animal medicines and biotech products. I've never heard of any of this. LabCorp, LH. Let's have a look at that. Please load. Okay, well, okay, there we go. So it dropped over here. Very bad prices. I'm assuming she bought the dip over here. And now that it's been disclosed, boom, stock price go up. Are we late? Yeah, you're late. Now is not the time to be buying. You should have bought this oversold area and you could sell when it's approximately overbought. I would assume around 270 plus, right? Just for a quick trade, but maybe she knows something that's a long-term play. Who knows? The next one is a $15,000 purchase of Biotechne. Techne. The ticker is Tech, which makes diagnostic tools for humans and animals. And what does she do for a living? She sits on the House Agriculture Committee and its Research and Biotech Subcommittee. Yeah, get more suspicious enough. It can't be more suspicious enough. That's what I'm trying to say. She's buying into these companies that are related into the field that she is literally working in. She must know something. We'll have our eyes peeled for these. What does tech look like? Let me have a look at that. Very illiquid stock when you see these kinds of graphs. I don't know. Health and biotechnology is what these have to do. Analyst ratings are looking at a buy for like 1 year forecast, right? They look all right. We don't have more historical data. A lot of dividends being paid from this, so you shouldn't expect much growth from this company. But I think a rise to 80, whatever it was that they were predicting. 75 max. That's a good guarantee. I mean, nothing is guaranteed, but you get the point. With dividends and, the fact that it's on its way up after bottoming out over here at 43, it's looking pretty solid, but, the uptrend is there. I wouldn't enter it nonetheless, so there's that. We'll have a look at those in the future, like I said, if there's any huge movements. Federal Reserve official Miran, Stephen Miran. This is our guy, by the way. He said that current data supports a more dovish stance than in September, adding that inflation figures are outdated and continuing to decline. I agree. We do not have any inflation data because The government was shut down this whole time. So the current data is what he's saying supports a more dovish stance than in September, which it just points to the possibility of the rate cuts that we are expecting in December to actually take effect. Not necessarily guaranteed. And just keep in mind as well, this guy Miran is the most in favor of rate cuts out of the rest of the Fed governors. I forget who specifically he replaced. I think it was Fed Kruger, who was not that in favor of cutting rates. So, of course, Fed officials leave. Trump replaces them with people who are willing to cut the rates to what Trump wants, which that shouldn't be allowed, but hey, whatever. We need the rate cuts. We need our bags to go up. It's gone to the point where he even said that a 50 basis point rate cut is appropriate for December instead of a 25 basis point rate cut. And minimum, we will get a 25 basis point rate cut, is what Stephen Miran ended up saying. He had a speech today, by the way, which is great. Like, okay, he's guaranteeing a 25% rate cut, and he even thinks a 50 basis point rate cut is appropriate. Now, he was in favor of 50 basis point rate cuts in the previous meetings in October and in September, which, in my opinion, those were exaggerations. And this might just be another one of those exaggerations. The rate cut odds probabilities have not changed at all since yesterday. 63% chance that we will see a 25 basis point rate cut, which is still high, versus a 36% chance that we will not see a rate cut in December. I'm still all leaning toward that. Yeah, we will absolutely get our third rate cut this year. So we'll see. This is Warren Buffett. He sent what could be his last message to Berkshire Hathaway shareholders as the CEO of the company. He will be stepping down. This was announced a couple months ago. It's, like I said, it's 8 pages, I think it is. And it's really long, and I'm not reading all this, so pause if you care to read any of this at all, but I will skip forward. This is hurting my brain. This is still going, by the way. I think this is the longest Twitter post I've ever seen posted. And there we go, it's finally ended. And I shouldn't have clicked that show more button. Indeed. So there it is, if you care to read all of it. But in summary, what happens, what he's saying in it, is that he's going quiet. To my fellow shareholders, I will no longer be reading Berkshire's annual report or talking endlessly at the annual meeting. I'm going quiet. I wish all who read this a very happy Thanksgiving. Wow, early, right? When is Thanksgiving? I'm assuming next week or something. Next week, Monday. So yeah, we already know that he's retiring. He's an old man. He's made his billions. He's fine. We'll allow it. And he dropped some words of wisdom in his farewell letter to shareholders that I thought would be interesting to share with other people. His advice, well, he says that he feels better about the second half of his life than the first. Yeah, a whole 50 years, by the way. His advice is don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. Learn at least a little from them and move on. It's never too late to improve. Get the right heroes and copy them. You can start with Tom Murphy. He was the best. I don't know who Tom Murphy is. I'm sorry. But I agree with this one. Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. What happened on October 10? I can recover. We can recover from that. It's not a big deal. Remember Alfred Nobel, later of Nobel Prize fame, who reportedly read his own obituary that was mistakenly printed when his brother died, and the newspaper got mixed up. He was horrified at what he read and realized he should change his behavior. Cool. Don't count on a newsroom mix-up. Decide what you would like your obituary to say and live the life to deserve it. He's literally writing it farewell letters as if he's about to die. I mean, he probably will. No offense, but yeah, he is an old man. He's 93, I think. So it's fair to be thinking about this kind of stuff when you're at that age, but talk more about the company. Or maybe he did it. Like I said, it's a whole massive wall of text. I'm sure you said his piece enough, more than enough, so it's fine. Greatness does not come about through accumulating great amounts of money, great amounts of publicity, or great power in government. When you help someone in any of thousands of ways, you help the world. Kindness is costless, but also priceless. Whether you are religious or not, it's hard to beat the golden rule as a guide to behavior. Golden rule being treat others as you would like to be treated, I think. I write this as one who has been thoughtless countless times and made many mistakes. but also became very lucky in learning from some wonderful friends how to behave better. Still a long way from perfect, however. Keep in mind that the cleaning lady is as much a human being as the chairman. Yeah, cool. Warren Buffett is known for his wise words. I've read stories on it, and yeah, he does have a lot of important stuff to say. He gets quoted to this day in a lot of trading activity, right? Don't risk more than what you're able to afford to lose, I think is one of them. Rule number 1 is don't lose money. Rule number 2 is don't forget rule number 1. Things like that. So yeah, he will be remembered. Go down as the best trader ever because he does long-term trading and he gets lucky. That's all it is. No, I'm kidding. He does his good research and he knows what he's doing. So good for him. Canada, we're getting guaranteed livable basic income, whatever the heck this means. I don't think I like it. I don't know. What I'm understanding from this is that the government will give income guaranteed to people aged 17 and older. Guaranteed livable basic income for everyone. Does that mean we'll get paid a salary for existing? Where's that money going to come from? It's $93 billion a year, and it's been quietly advanced by Ottawa, this bill that proposes this. Here's more information on it from Grok. Advanced by the Canadian Senate on November 7, which was 3 days ago, proposes a framework for universal guaranteed livable basic income for all residents aged 17 plus, with Parliamentary Budget Office estimates pegging full implementation at $93 billion annually to cover regional living costs. I mean, yeah, in theory, it seems like, yeah, you're getting free money so that you can guaranteed cover your rent, bills, groceries, utility bills, all that stuff, right? I don't know how much, though, depending on the person, I guess. The legislation requires federal consultations with provinces, indigenous groups, and experts to set standards and ensure no cuts to existing disability or health supports, but stops short of direct funding or rollout. Replies reflect fiscal concerns, with calculations showing roughly $3,720 added yearly per taxpayer. Oh, so that's where the money's coming from our taxes. And we spread it amongst everybody else, is what it seems like. Prior pilots like Ontario's program demonstrated 20 to 30% reductions in healthcare use among recipients. Yeah, it does have to do with a lot of UBI, right? Sounds good, but not sure our world is ready. Maybe when robots do 90% of the work. Yeah, good theory. So, yeah, I mean, it's still in early stages, but we'll see what happens with this UBI stuff. All right, moving on to crypto news. We don't have too much on it, really. But I talked about yesterday that today was going to be the day that MicroStrategy and Tom Lee would be reporting how much they've purchased. So here are the numbers. MicroStrategy purchased 487 Bitcoins. Pathetic, still. Why are you not buying the thousands of Bitcoins that you used to buy? $49.9 million. That's nothing. I mean, okay, fine. It is 50 billion, so, you know, it's 50. No, did I say billion? Million. $50 million was purchased at an average price of 102,557. That's pretty good. Okay, not too bad, I guess, but could have been better. I know, is like Michael Saylor is just not buying enough. What happened to the good old days? He's genuinely run out of money. Have you seen the stock? It's also at really, really low points. MSTR. Come on, please load. There we go. This is probably the reason why he's not buying a lot, because the stock price is not really reflecting some good momentum here. I mean, Bitcoin also has not been performing that well, but I'm assuming as Bitcoin's price rises, MicroStrategy stock rises, and the buys that he makes, if he does continue to make them every week, will be much larger. But I don't like the correlation that I'm seeing here. You know, the lower the stock price goes because of the lower how Bitcoin goes, the lesser the buys that he is able to make. I don't like that, but we'll see. Bitmine Immersion Technologies, this is from Tom Lee, of course, who's very bullish on Ethereum, they've announced that their Ethereum holdings have reached 3.5 million ETH, bringing its total crypto and cash reserves to $13.2 billion. Is that a lot of money? I think so. Yeah, come on, do the math. 3.5 million ETH. Can I please, calculator? 3,500,000 times, what's the current price of Ethereum? 3,573. Did I just do this wrong? 3,573. That's, yeah, $12.5 billion. And then on top of that, whatever the difference between the 12.5 minus the 13,200 billion, that's million. It's a difference of $694 million that he has left to purchase more Ethereum, if he ever decides to. I think the majority of it is already bought into Ethereum, which is good. Ethereum is still at a low price, right? And he still got 600 million just in case it does continue dropping, but I wouldn't expect it to either. So good move. Although if you're going to do a treasury or hold on to some sort of an asset, just do Bitcoin, not Ethereum. But whatever. You do you. XRP ETFs are now listed on the DTCC platform from Bitwise, Franklin Templeton, 21 shares, Canary Capital, and CoinShares. We're going to have plenty of options to invest into these XRP ETFs once they do finally get approved. And we also got that, I forgot the details of it, but there was a notice that they've updated their filing. One of the companies, I think it was Bitwise, or it could have been 21 shares, to expedite the process of getting the XRP ETF approved. And if the SEC doesn't reply in 20 days, it's likely to just go live anyway, right? They have 20 days to dispute it, I think it was. So I don't know. I could be wrong if it just goes live immediately after. I don't think it really works like that. But hey, government shutdown ending soon. So all these ETFs, not just for XRP, but everything else. Hedera, Litecoin, which we've already seen. Solana, Sui, we're going to see Pepe, Doge, Trump, ETFs, all these random ETFs. They're finally going to get approved. So that'll be good. And my last bit of news, Kazakhstan is setting up a $1 billion national crypto reserve fund by 2026. Which is why I'm saying, like, oh, all this stuff, it could roll over into next year and still be very bullish. But we'll see. It will be seeded with seized assets and mining proceeds. It won't hold Bitcoin directly, but it will invest via ETFs and digital asset firms. Boo. Buy the real thing. Why are you buying into ETFs? I mean, I guess that's what ETFs are for, but if you're going to do like an actual reserve, right? That's what they said. Yeah, a national crypto reserve. Just buy the actual spot asset. It'll benefit literally everyone. So yeah, there we go. I don't like how fast Hyperliquid is dropping. Am I going to get closed out? Yeah, probably. It's fine. That's fine if it does. Oh, what is this? LeBron James tweet? What? Hey, show me what did it say? What did that just say? I'm looking at my own stream here. Why is my quality so terrible? LeBron James tweet sends hype token tumbling 5%. What did LeBron James just tweet about Hyperliquid? What? LeBron? Basketball player, by the way. What is bro doing? Rip legend. Okay, congratulations on record, bro. What? I think I'm just going to have to look up LeBron James and hype. Okay, that's not it. Dude, I swear this Bing X AI is just making stuff up at this point. Is there anything like Hyperliquid related? Dollars, hype. What is this talking about? What is this? Okay, LeBron James tweet sends hype token tumbling 5%. What do you mean? Okay, you know what? Explain LeBron James tweet affecting Hyperliquid. All right, let's see what this says. You literally showed that in the preview. You might as well tell me what it is. And then when I click on it, it just disappears, which is so funny. There's no direct connection between LeBron James tweeting and Hyperliquid. Literally rewind this. You know what? I'll just show this to you live right here. LeBron James tweet sends hype token tumbling 5%. Okay, got it? All right, now what's this? There is no direct connection between LeBron James tweeting and Hyperliquid. Okay, so what are you talking about? Literally this. Hyperliquid is a decentralized derivatives trading platform operating within Web3 and cryptocurrency ecosystem, while LeBron James is just a professional basketball player whose public statements typically relate to sports, lifestyle, or personal ventures. Literally, I looked it up and there's nothing. Okay, whatever. Stupid. Stupid AI. Worthless. Trash. Get out of here. Okay. Anyway. That'll be all for tonight's stream, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. Tomorrow, we shall see how things play out. Maybe the House goes ahead and votes on ending the government shutdown, although it's likely that it's going to be by Wednesday, so the day after. We're just going to have to wait and see. Until then, economic data will still not be provided much. We will have more Feds talking. Today we had one from Miran, which does not show on here, which is just fantastic. And all these other Feds, who cares what they say? Does Powell talk at all? I don't think he does. Why do I have Japan shown here? I don't want to see Japan. Or well, I'll keep Canada, fine. I think I showed it because we had like 3 rate cuts, 3 decisions, interest rate decisions from Canada, US, and Japan's bank on the same day. That's why I think I had those enabled. Powell, does he talk at all? Anytime? FOMC minutes. Oh, that's happening on Wednesday. That's a closed door meeting, but we'll see what comes of that. Oh, well. No matches. Okay, cool. No Powell anytime soon. Excellent. We don't want to hear from that guy, especially what he did after October 28, 29, 29. Okay, yeah, so that'll be all for tonight's stream, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow. Until